G'day.
Sundays. G'day, Whit Sundays.
G'day, Whit Sunday's here.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome, Karen and Tom. How wonderful to have you from Parallel Paradise here in Byron Bay.
Love it.
It's so great to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. I don't even have a little name for this cook along, but it is what it is. So we're going to make it up as we go along. So Karen and Tom's cook along. Now, what are you cooking for me? What's for lunch?
We're going to have cauliflower steaks roasted in the oven
Great.
and hummus,
Hummus.
homemade hummus.
And rocket leaves. Very simple. We're going to do nothing to those. We're going to keep it really simple and really tasty.
That's a good idea. Now, while Tom does all the prepping,
Yeah, Tom is doing all the prepping. So aren't you so happy that Karen is joining you for this Zoom?
yeah.
Tom is thrilled because all he's doing is everything else other than talking.
Oh, well, and he looks the bloody part, let me tell you, he looks sensational. And appropriately, the three of us met at lunch.
At lunch in Early Beach.
And we certainly did. And tell us how you came to be back in Early Beach. Tell us the backstory.
Worldwide pandemic crisis occurred in New York City in March of 2020. The short version of this story is our son's school went remote. We had 2 years worth of work cancelled in 48 hours being in the entertainment business, and my husband Tom turned to me and said, should we go to Australia? I said, that's a bit dramatic, isn't it? But we decided to do that, and here we are still. And I just have to, while the magic's happening, show you, is that okay? Here is the beauty of the cauliflower steak happening in action. So, so that's how we come to be in Airlie, and we kept changing our flight and just, we're not going back till it makes sense, because right now it doesn't make sense. So we thought if we're not going to be in our home for an extended period of time, we'll be in paradise. Thank you very much.
And what month did you return home to Australia?
We arrived on March 19th of 2020.
You were lucky, weren't you? You were really, really by a whisker you got home.
Some might say tuned in. Yes. Very fortunate.
Yes, absolutely. Tuned in, and we speak that language fluently in this part of the world as well. And you're originally, of course, born in Mackay?
Born in Mackay, born in this region.
Girl, absolutely. And so it really is a place to call home, isn't it? For you to come back to the Whit Sundays, to be in Airlie as your physical but also spiritual home, yeah?
Yeah, it really is. And we are totally in love with the Whit Sundays.
Well, I can see that by your Instagram account.
I can't help myself.
Oh, no, it's wonderful. What's your Instagram handle?
Look at this view again. Look at this stage 10 minutes later. I can't help it.
Where do people find you on Instagram? Remind me.
At Real Karen J. RealKaren J.
Okay.
Tell us about Tom, other than the cauliflower. Where's
Tom has no computer handles at all. It's all me. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. There's the beauty of the cauliflower steaks ready to go. See how simple that was? You chop up the cauliflower, you put it on the tray. Okay, that's it. Okay, there's
try and slice it into steaks so it doesn't crumble, right? That's
Yeah, you do the best you can. And you take some salt.
Yes. Okay, salt. Saxa. Right.
And see, all the little bits are in between the big bits. You just don't waste any of it. You cook it all.
Now,
Okay, great.
what makes this easy? Olive oil spray.
All right. So you get that
Spray it
surface
on.
area.
What did you do with that, love? I sprayed it on.
Yeah.
It's very high tech.
It's high tech here in the kitchen.
What temperature are you going to bake your steaks at?
180 fan forced.
Yeah, okay.
And it should take about 20 minutes.
Here's
Right
one
on.
of the secret ingredients. Is that going on now or later? No. Okay, good.
No, that doesn't go on.
All
Okay,
right.
we won't divulge that.
Are we almost in the oven?
We're almost in the oven. Just some pepper.
Pepper, and then it's in the oven. Now this you know, the cooking of Tom, he is so thorough. Every little piece of cauliflower is being loved right now.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
fluff. And
Super.
where was Tom born?
Tom was born in Connecticut,
Ah, wow, beautiful.
northeast of New York City. Grew up in a small community there. Went to school there, then went to school in Boston, to Tufts University.
Yes.
But very importantly, his mother was of Greek descent.
That's right.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
My mother firmly believed that all of her sons needed to be able to cook.
Turmeric
Oh,
on
that's
right now.
wonderful. Okay, so
Always
we've got turmeric, salt.
Always take an opportunity to add turmeric any old time.
Yes.
Good for
Any old
joint.
time. Good for joints. Not the kind of joints they have in Byron Bay, though, Tom.
Different joints,
Yes, yes.
physical joints, and good for colour.
Good for colour.
Color.
Powerful antioxidant, antiviral, all that wonderful curcumin carotenoid. Well done. Into the oven. That's my
Okay.
favourite expression.
Into the
And
oven.
into the oven.
Photo of
Okay,
it.
we better get some. We better get some.
Multimedia here. Okay, it's in the oven.
It's in the oven.
About 20 minutes.
About 20 minutes, or once we finish talking, and we'll pull it out and plate it up.
With the magic of television, of course.
Yes.
And how often has Tom been to Australia prior to this pilgrimage?
We have an exact answer. So we just applied for Tom's partner visa.
Right.
For those watching from the US, this is about the equivalent of the green card. So permanent residency. And to do that paperwork, we had to identify all the visas he's ever had, which are
All the
Wow.
Australian visas, which was 35 visits to Australia.
Wow. Well, you are a local now, Tom, after all that. They
Yes.
better grant that. Stamp that on approval. Absolutely.
it's been approved. He got his approval in 8 weeks. We're celebrating.
Oh, fantastic. With turmeric. Celebrate with turmeric.
Exactly.
Wonderful news. What a great relief. And I know that we spoke when, of course, we first met, that you pretty much packed everything up in Manhattan, didn't you? It's all
No.
still in Manhattan. Oh, no, you just
So we
raced out
packed
the
a
door.
suitcase and got on a plane. Our apartment is sitting there.
Did you turn the toaster off, or is that still, you know?
We did turn off the outlets.
We left most of the power on though.
We did. Shall we do a little hummus step while we're
Walk us through the hummus. Hummus. Very funny.
hummus?
400 grams.
Now, do you use the chickpea liquid for aquafaba?
Are you kidding me? We love it.
Good girl.
Yeah. So you
Well
use
done.
a quarter of a cup,
Of the
Cup.
and then you pour the rest into
your
your
aquafaba collection.
reserve. Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
because
Is it
you use
vessel?
all those other things that you cook with.
right.
Pancakes and baking, and I
Yeah.
mean we use it for lots
Baking
of
and
things.
pancakes are the two biggies.
Right.
Okay, so
It
then
adds fluff, doesn't it? It aerates. It adds fluff to everything.
so good.
So I put in I use a NutriBullet, but I put in about half of the chickpeas
Right.
and rest them there for the time being.
By the way, this is a bit of a super secret recipe. I'm not sure if he's going to tell you every little bit, but this
I will.
you will.
Nobody can make it as good as I
Hey,
can.
that's
True.
very Michelin star of you, Chef. Very Michelin star.
It's
The
going to
secret's
end
are
up
safe
in
with
a,
us and the rest of the world.
I think it's going to end up in a container sold one day.
Good. Well, we'll help you with that product development. Go for
Fantastic.
it. Yeah, yeah. And of course, you know, I know you appreciate this. If I make the same recipe next to Tom, it will taste slightly different.
Every time.
You know, it has your essential energy. I'm so convinced of that. Your essential nature goes into the flavour of food.
Absolutely. I
Never
love
trust a bad tempered
that.
chef. Yeah, it's true, Karen. It's true. You know, if you're not on your game and you're cooking, people can taste it. You know, never trust the food of a bad tempered chef. I've always said.
I
And there's
love
plenty of them out there. Yeah, you can have that. But of course, look at Tom. What a little angel in the kitchen. Peaceful, calm. There's been no swearing yet. Look at that face.
His energy is so zen when he's cooking, and most of the time, other than that.
I love that. And Tom, how does it feel to be off the road for so long? Are you pining for back in the entertainment business, or are you actually enjoying paradise and not stressing?
Well, a lot of my time was in all of my 40 years on the road was spent on a bus. I'm actually not missing that much. The bus is where you live, where you sleep, where you wake up in the new city and go to work the next day. And really, I love to travel, but it's gotten a little harder, a little more difficult
Yeah.
as I've gotten a little older. So I like to plan things, I like to organize, but being at home is not so bad.
There's plenty to plan and organise at home.
Especially, I mean, you're just looking out at this
Magnificent view.
day, and it's cloudy today.
Can I show you the view? I'm not sure if we'll be able to see it from here, but let's see. Hang on. No, I'm gonna just take you on a little trip while Tom prepares the garlic lovingly, one clove at a time. Because
I didn't prepare it earlier.
no, because here is the view. I mean, it's
Giddy up.
nice. That's what we look at when we're cooking. I mean, that's what Tom looks at when he's cooking. And I do cook too. He's right. I do. And then over to that way is Hayman Island, and then across here. I mean, it's magnificent. So when you ask Tom if he's missing being on the road, I actually don't think he is at all. I think he's very happy to look out
Absolutely.
at paradise. This has been our dream. We thought our dream would be Hawaii, but it turns out it's been recalculated and it's in the Whitsundays.
And isn't that fascinating? I believe that essence of that is you manifest, you have your vision, you manifest it, but sometimes the universe gives you, as you would say, a different GPS.
Yeah.
And here you are in Australia, a little bit same, but different to Hawaii, particularly where you are in the Whitsundays, but I'm sure equally as beautiful.
Oh,
And
yeah.
perhaps a little less hazardous at the moment.
Exactly.
When you look at the vision boards we had,
Really?
you will not notice any difference.
Same palm tree, same hammock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's unreal,
The
really.
same view,
Yeah.
everything.
And for a boy from Connecticut, that's a big long haul, isn't it, to find yourself there in Early Beach?
It is, and check out the garlic. This is one of the
The
secrets
garlic.
of the Thomas hummus is a magnificent amount of garlic.
5 cloves.
5 cloves.
Yeah, right.
So then, I need that
You need that.
Lemon juice.
lemon juice. Depending on the size of the lemons, do one, half of one or a whole.
Right.
This is a whole lemon
Today we're going to
size.
use a whole.
Yeah. I like that little bit of acidity for my own preference. And what we find the NutriBullet does everything, doesn't it? People love them.
Oh yeah, it does. We now own one in America and in Australia.
Like a double barrel shotgun. You've got one. Put in every can. I love that. So what's in going now? Salt.
Half a teaspoon of salt.
Half a teaspoon of salt. Yes.
Himalayan salt.
Well, today.
Himalayan salt.
And what's that? More turmeric?
Not Himalayan sea salt, though, of course.
No, cooking salt.
Some of our chefs call it Himalayan sea salt, and we don't really think there's much ocean up in the Himalayas.
Himalayan cooking salt and a bunch of more turmeric. And what are you putting in now?
It's the very slightest pinch of cayenne.
Oh, yum. Now you're talking.
Just a little to flavor it.
To keep us all on our toes.
Absolutely. Keep those systems working. navigate your digestion with that, darling.
Exactly right. And now we have the olive oil situation.
Okay, so lots of good olive oil, like a good Greek boy.
Yep, two tablespoons of olive oil.
Great.
Well, it
And
depends on where you're from in the Mediterranean region, which is the best olive oil.
Right.
But according to my mother, it was the Greek olive oil.
Of course.
My Italian friends tell me,
It's the Italian olive oil.
yeah, and my Spanish friends tell me it's the Spanish.
Of course. It's very regional, isn't it? Very competitive.
And then
And
a
how long have
very
you? Yeah.
large helping of tahini,
Is that
tablespoon,
a large tablespoon of tahini?
Okay. Yeah.
overflowing tablespoon.
Yes. Sounding very good. And I love it in the NutriBullet. That's perfect because it's just small enough to be able to
Yeah.
create this. Whereas a big blender, sometimes it can get a little lost if you're just making small serves.
So the rest of the can of chickpeas just went in on top now.
Yep.
Do you want to chat or do you want to have a moment for the holy NutriBullet to do its thing?
Oh, I think, is the NutriBullet noisy?
Oh, it's going to be so noisy.
That's all right. We'll just sing and dance while he's doing.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah, hit the play button.
You ready?
Play button.
And
We're
go.
ready.
Oh, we did
Hey,
it.
presto, that's amazing.
Presto.
Okay, that's done.
So one of the
Thanks,
things
Jen.
about Tom and the NutriBullet is I'm pretty sure he uses one of the plastic containers that he uses is really the hummus one because he makes hummus
Yeah, great.
times a week. So it just continues to be that same container. I think that makes a difference, but
I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great idea because the next person who wants to make a smoothie then has their own,
we
component.
have 3 or 4 different ones that
Yeah.
came with the set. So we like that.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And how long have you been eating so healthily and mostly plant-based, if not all? Are you vegan or vegetarian?
We're full-on vegans, and it
Full-on
was
vegan.
2013
You
when we
vegan?
watched a documentary called Forks Over Knives.
Yep.
And my wise husband turned to me and said, should we give this a go? And I said, what? Be vegan? What will we eat? Where will we get our protein? And he said, well, what have we got to lose by just giving it a go? And so we did. We went to the natural supermarket, bought a bunch of replacement items, bought some, the Australian equivalent would be Nuttalex instead of butter and soy milk instead of regular milk. We bought some vegan cheeses to check out, and we started to research egg replacements, flax, chia seed, and now we know it's apple faba. There are so many different things to use as egg replacements in baking and cooking. And we bought vegan sausages and vegan burger patties.
For those days when you really want to have a taste of what you used to have.
Yeah. And how are you going with that plant-based protein? How do you find those burgers? Do you eat Beyond Meat burgers or Impossible Burger? Probably don't have Impossible in Australia, but do you have a preference?
They have the alternate.
The
alternative meat
company in Australia is
Yep.
very good. We
It's
love
good.
theirs.
And Beyond.
Beyond?
And there's a bunch of other ones that that are coming
That
and
are
going.
okay.
But many of them cook almost identical to meat.
Yes, they do. It's an incredible mimicry, isn't it? You can't, the texture, and in the plant-based nutrition and wellness course that I've been teaching, which is our 10-week course, we dive deep into the backstory of that synthesis to create that meat-like texture. And my curiosity always is unquenched in what are we hankering for? And perhaps you can answer it. Are you hankering for that meat-like sensation because you want to be kinder to the planet? but you
Oh,
still want to have the old
need a meat.
school.
I don't need a
I
meat-like
need it.
sensation, but I enjoy eating all those plant-based ingredients made up into the you know costume of a sausage or a burger.
Yeah.
Nostalgia. It's pure
Yes,
nostalgia.
nostalgia. And it's so good that you say that because we talk about that at length in the
Pure
course.
nostalgia for
It,
me.
Yeah.
it's not, you know, the whole reason why the meat market has gone the way it has is because of the processing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're just growing more, faster, quicker. You know, it's just,
It's cruel.
yeah. So, it, you know, eating a plant-based sausage is exactly that, just for nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think, you know, even they are beginning to start getting processed. I
Yes,
So you just have
very
to be
much so.
careful. But you know, at least we're not eating animal.
You're choosing wisely. And while you're integrating for Karen back home, but for you into your new town or your new region, have you find that shopping is very different? Because I know from my experiences in Manhattan, everything is at your fingertips when it comes to different kinds of food options, diet specificities, and so forth. How are you going finding your ingredients in beautiful
Well,
Airlie
you
Beach
know,
and beyond?
the major supermarkets are pretty much the same, but we found some. I don't, you know, I'm not going to call it the roadside stand, but the smaller the smaller markets that use produce from the area up
Oh,
here are outstanding.
so
Yes. Mm.
exciting.
Yeah,
You know, you can get anything, and as long as you're getting fresh ingredients, you can cook anything. You know, you can cook.
so true.
You know,
And I think
It's
it's
so true.
very healthy for the planet
mm.
to go back to revisit and to really embrace eating seasonally. I think there's something, and you would be the expert, but I think it's probably a way more deep, nourishing, healthy outcome than even just it's nice to do. But I think it's very I think there's something even bigger energetically about us
I
eating.
think there's a reset, isn't there? There's a reset and a deeper connection. And in the region that I live in, which is the Northern Rivers region, as you know, of Australia, for our overseas friends, then we have a real, a beautiful, abundant food bowl here, just as we do in so many huge pockets of Australia and certainly the Southern Hemisphere, New Zealand, of course, where food is centre stage. Whether you are a gun chef, you're a good home cook, you're a passionate food enthusiast, or you just love to eat, then there's been a hyper awareness in the last, particularly in the last decade, if not more, perhaps really since the turn of the century, dare I throw that out, about food provenance and where our food comes from. And what people are really interested in is not necessarily what's on the plate, it's the paddock, of course, that it came from.
the,
Have
the,
you
the
noticed that since you've
story.
arrived? The story, yeah.
People are interested in the story, and that's something that was pretty interesting when we did become vegan in 20 March of 2013. So we're coming up to, how many years is that?
Yeah.
No.
8? Yes.
It feels like 20. I mean, I feel like I always ate this way. I love it. But at that time, there were a lot fewer ingredients available, a lot fewer vegan options on menus and on high-end menus. And so fortunately and happily, it happened at the similar time that this food revolution started or built. And certainly in the last 7 years in New York City, the number of vegan restaurants, vegan friendly options, food delivery companies, ingredient and recipe companies where you could have your, everything delivered to your door every week, just endless options. So it's and some of those high-end restaurants, I dreamed of having their degustation menus with the wine
Yes.
drinks, and I had to kind of let go of, okay, well, I was a bit sad. I was like, now that I'm vegan, I won't be able to go and do go to that top restaurant in Spain that does that, because I don't believe in that and I don't want to eat that anymore. I don't want to eat animals. However, now even those restaurants have a vegan
options.
set menu, you know,
And isn't it unbelievable? And it's not just tofu on the side, you know.
Oh, thank goodness.
We have many great chefs, of course, around the world, but particularly in Australia. A few of them come to mind. Matt Wilkinson, for example, who's a Victorian-based chef, and he's known for his big flavors and meats and fishes and so forth. But his love of salad not being just on the side and his vegetables that take center stage is where we probably should have really all come from, as opposed to our Australian meat and 3 veg, you know. So this return to plants, I just think, is so magnificent. And as you say, you know, 10 years ago, 8 years in your case, there wasn't a lot of option. In the work I've been doing for over 20 years now, veganism was mostly tempeh and tofu.
Yes.
You know, for those people looking in, not being disrespectful to our vegan friends, but from the carnivores amongst us looking into veganism, it would be written off as lentils, mung beans, and rainbows.
Right.
And of course, now people are a little bit more aware of protein combining. They understand that if you combine, you know, the sesame seeds with the chickpeas for hommus, then of course you're going to have a beautiful balance of not just essential fatty acids, but protein combining as well. So what's going on here? It looks like there's a bit of plating up there from the
there's a little, the Thomas hummus is making its way into the bowl. Oh,
someone's hungry and calling for dinner. Oh, that's the oven singing.
It's the timer for the oven. There's so many things I wanted to share with you. I feel like I can talk to you on and on and on about this topic.
This could be episode 1, darling. So
your series, you never know.
You never know. Tell us, while he's about to plate, tell us briefly what's on your plate coming up. What's happening with the GPS girl?
Yes, one thing I wanted to share is that I just led my first retreat in the Whitsundays, an immersive, all-inclusive retreat called the Create Experience, where professional and entrepreneurial people come to spend an entire weekend with me, being nurtured in a luxury environment and taking a look at their lives and their personal and business lives, and really taking everything in terms of development to the next level. And as a part of that retreat, I brought in a chef who cooked an all-vegan gourmet 5-star menu. And what was exciting was to see the reaction of the participants, that they couldn't believe they were eating only, oh look at this.
Look at that.
They were eating only plants, but that the flavor was so outstanding. So that is, I always find it very exciting when people
huge
discover
win,
that
isn't it?
no meat doesn't mean no flavor.
Yeah, that's so true. No meat doesn't mean no flavor. And look at that golden cauliflower.
Isn't that gorge? Simple. So that's one thing I have to say. One of the reasons I was super excited to be with you today is because we're all about simple. Do you see the reflection of our view on that oven?
I can. It's wonderful.
How fun is
I thought you might have staged it that way.
Oh, can you imagine? Anyway, it's simple. And one of the tips, if we can add, for our lives is every morning we decide what we're having for dinner that night. Now there's a little bit more planning, as in, well, when we're shopping, we talk about, maybe we'll have this week. But in the morning we get up, we're having our tea, I've meditated, we're having our tea, and then we're like, what are we gonna have for dinner tonight? And we decide in the morning, and because I never, ever want that experience ever again. We're at 6:45. And
I'm hungry.
I'm exhausted and I've got no energy and I've got no idea what to have for dinner.
Yeah, I love that. You know, what a beautiful way to start your day, and then something to look forward to at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So show us what's going on here. Look at it. It's magnificent, isn't it?
Honey, would you like...
I can almost smell it.
Yeah.
These ones?
Yeah.
You can almost smell it. I wish I could tell
I know, smell-o-vision. We'll get there one day.
That's right. That's right. Okay, let me see if I can. There we go.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gorgeous, isn't it? And you
it is.
know, whenever I have a cauliflower steak, I feel really fulfilled. I don't feel like I needed that animal protein. There's something about carving into those steaks, particularly with all that lovely flavor, I'm sure from the hummus and so forth. You feel really satisfied.
You do, and it's you said it before about having meat and animal as the star or in the middle of a dish. And I think it's just an awareness and a retraining of figuring out
Yeah,
what vegetables can be the star on your plate. And
yeah.
then what can you build around it? And so that's something that we do and that will be in our GPS vegan book, which will one day come out, to make, simple
Mhm.
ideas on how to eat healthily. But just, one thing that I find easy is chop up half a dozen or three sweet potatoes, put them in the oven and bake them, and then have them in the fridge on the go.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
quickly
right.
have that with some hummus and some salad, or with some brown rice and some tomatoes.
Yeah,
Just to
yeah.
have different go-to options.
Yeah, and preparation is key, it really is. And of course, all the dedicated cooks who are listening and watching, of course, will say, yes, yes, yes. But it really is. It's about being prepared, but
It's,
also having those cooked foods that are available to snack on. So you're not just always reaching for the chocolate biscuits. 'Cause that's the thing. Probably not chocolate biscuits in your house. They'll be carob coated honey joy, not even honey joy. You don't even have honey. I'll
well,
have
there
to
can
get back
be
to you
all
on those
kinds of
issues.
things, right? But I mean, one thing for us is just, yeah, having good replacements, good options. I mean, I used to eat a lot of eggs. I was very I was nostalgic about eggs for a long time, and I
Right.
used to eat eggs every day. And I was like, what am I going to do? Now it's avocado on toast,
Yeah.
or I have my go-tos, or I have a tomato and vegan cheese toasted sandwich, or I
Yeah.
mean, there are so many other things I can't think of them all right now, but or a shake or
Um,
whatever. But look, here we have, a bit of
it
what
is.
the plate looks
Here it
like.
is.
It's really simple.
Love it.
Do
Yeah,
dollop some in
it's
that
so
plate.
happy, isn't it? Those cauliflower trees. Look at it. It's just a forest of goodness,
Can you
Karen.
do
Tom, a
that?
forest of goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple and it's very simple. I mean, that really takes about 22 minutes, and for 15 of those 22 minutes, you're doing something else while it makes itself. So, and then on the leaves, you just put a little lemon juice or olive oil or
Oil.
balsamic vinegar or balsamic glaze or salt and pepper, something
Yeah,
simple, you know?
yeah. Beautiful. Highly nutritious, super fast. What a treat. She's going to send us some photos.
She is.
Well, I'm going to let you enjoy and sit down together and enjoy that magnificent lunch of yours. It might
We
turn to dinner.
actually are going to have a big lunch today. We usually have a simpler lunch and an early dinner, but tonight will be a big lunch. It's a big lunch.
Awesome.
Today will be a big lunch thanks to you. And so thanks for having us.
Yeah, really.
Thank you. Thank you for your precious time. We hope to come up and see you again very soon, probably a little bit later in this year. And where can people find you? Remind us of your Instagram and your website. What are your
At
details?
At Real Karen J on Insta and on Twitter and Facebook, Real Karen Jacobsen. I'm on YouTube, I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me all over the place, or thegpsgirl.com.
Great. We'll have all those links in the story. Thank you so much. Lots of love. Happy
You,
New Year.
you have
And
reached your destination.
you have reached the destination. I love it. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
Whitsunday.
Bye.